Hi, viewers. Welcome to another edition of Mary Clinic Live. How are you today? I remain your host, Marlai and Oputi. Thank you so much for subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thank you to all our followers, to all our viewers. Thank you to all our new members on our Facebook group page. And thank you to all our new joiners, new subscribers, and our returning subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much for always joining us. Please, if you are here to subscribe to our YouTube channel, kindly do so. Do it on the subscribe button because I promise to bring you interesting and educative content, and you would definitely and surely learn a lot here at Mary Clinic. So thank to everyone. I really do appreciate you all. So today we are going to be looking at an interesting topic that says infidelity DNA testing. The fact that there is increase in the number of paternity tests done on children in Nigeria. This topic became necessary as a result of so many things that have been happening around in society, and even on this platform we see a lot happening. And just few hours ago I was reading an interesting interview conducted for a geneticist. I mean, someone that specializes in gene genetics. All he does for a living is to carry out DNA tests on people. And this man was interviewed, and it was a very comprehensive interview that was held with him. And that interview was very expository, and I want us to talk about it. I want us to discuss it. The fact that he explained that quite a number of people are now coming to do DNA tests. As a matter of fact, in a month, that they have close to 400 to 500 people trooping in every month, monthly, to come and carry out DNA tests on their children. Now, he said before now they used to have maybe just about 100 people come, but now people are trooping in, about 400 coming averagely in a month, come and conduct tests on their children. Why? Because there is dispute over, whether I'm the father of the child or not. And he explained how these couples will come sometimes without the knowledge of the other. They will come and say, oh, I want you to carry out a DNA test on this child or on my children. And for some, for immigration purposes, they have to go to his outfit, to conduct that DNA test. But according to him, he said that there has been a lot of dramatic episode around this DNA testing of a thing, because imagine a couple come, the man thought that, oh, this child is his own, just for him to carry out a DNA test, and he realizes that, wow, this boy or this girl that I've been taking care of for the past 5 years, 10 years of my life is actually not my own. I'm not the biological father. And he said that it can be very painful, that he has seen cases where men, I mean men, big men, will literally break down in his office, and they will be shedding tears. They will be crying that, wow, how could someone do such a thing to them? A child that is not their own is being pushed to them, and they are made to fend for that child for so many years. And this man also explained how there was a case of a particular couple whereby the ex of that lady was dragging the child with the husband. The husband was insisting that these twins are mine, but the ex of this lady kept telling the husband that, no, these children are mine. I'm so sure that these twins are mine. So they came to his outfit to conduct a paternity test. Lo and behold, he said when the result came out, none of these two men happened to be the father of those twins. That was devastating. I mean, both of them were heartbroken. Imagine the ex is not the father. Imagine even the one that claims to be the father, who is the husband of the woman, also discovering that, they are both not the father. So according to him, said they were both shattered that day. They were like, "What is going on? You, this woman, are you this loose? Are you this promiscuous? How come you had multiple sexual partners to an extent that you don't even know who the father of these twins are?" And I also remember during the week I was watching a program whereby this woman explained that there was a man who lived in the US. Then he came to Nigeria briefly for holiday, and somehow he got involved sexually with this young lady, and the young lady got pregnant and she had twins as well. And since then he returned back to the US just for this lady to keep calling to tell him, "Oh, you know what, you need to send money, and the twins need money for this, for that." This man said he kept sending money, he's been sending money. So at a point, his friend said, "See, these twins that this lady claim are yours, have you even bothered to go conduct a DNA test for them?" And the man had to come down to Nigeria for this DNA test, and lo and behold, when the result came out, those twins were not his own. What? So he was like, "You see, if he had just assumed, if he had just admitted that, oh, they are his, and he keep living his life with that reality or that falsehood, he wouldn't have even bothered to say, oh, let me go check it out, let me go verify if truly they are mine." But because he verified, he got to know that these children are not really mine. And this man also explained the geneticist. He explained how, he has had cases whereby the husband is suspecting the wife, and of course, suspicion does not happen except you give room to your spouse to suspect you. And in this case, the woman gave room for her husband to suspect her. So the man went to work, but somehow he felt dizzy at work, so he came back home. On getting home, apparently he didn't come home with the usual car that he takes to work. I think he came home with one of the pool cars in his complaint. So the wife apparently didn't know that he was the one inside. And the man just came in briefly just to rest and go back to the office. And somehow when the man came in, the man had a telephone conversation in the house. That was his wife talking to someone over the phone, and the wife was laughing, sheepishly and saying, "Oh, this child really looked like you." She was talking to someone on the phone, telling the person that, "Oh, the baby she's carrying looks so much like him, and that she can't wait for him to come so that he can see his baby and all of that." And this man was he listening to that conversation, because all along the man thought that the 8-month-old baby was his own, until he had that conversation, and he was very disturbed. So he went with the baby on a particular day for a DNA test, and lo and behold, he found out that that baby was not his child. Now, this man, I mean the man conducting the DNA test, explained how 60%, he said 60% of the DNA test conducted in his office usually end up negative, meaning the the person who thought he is the father of those children, end up not being the father of the children or the father of the child that a DNA test is being conducted on. And according to him, he says 6 out of every 10 children that he has conducted DNA tests for, they come out negative, meaning that is not their father. So if this is the reality of the present time that we are in, what does this tell us? Because I mean, when I read this post, I realized that a lot is actually happening, that many of us are disconnected from, especially those of us who are leaders at various places, probably in our religious outfit and in different capacity where we are leading. We assume that the things happening in those smaller places is a true reflection of what is happening in society. At times, that is not the case. What is happening in society is completely different from what is going on in our religious houses. That is the honest truth. Now, for this to be happening now, it simply tells us that there is fire on the mountain, a lot is going on. This goes to tell us that we are having more and more unfaithful partners in marriages, unfaithful spouses. It's still in this same marriage clinic that someone was once reported a case of, the wife, despite the fact that she's married, she was still visiting her ex and still allowing the ex to visit her, and to the extent that the man started doubting if he truly owned the children that he had. So we've also had cases whereby a married woman, she's married with two kids, and she also discussed how she got pregnant for another man. In fact, she was sleeping with two different men apart from her own husband, to the extent that she got pregnant from one of them. And when you hear all of those things, you'll be wondering, please, what is going on? Because of what use, of what essence is going into marriage if you know that you will still not be committed to that marriage. You still want to go around sleeping around, creating crisis, confusion for people in society. Imagine the pain that some of these men will be going through, that have nurtured children that are not theirs, thinking that these children are mine, and just for them to discover or realize down the line that no, these are not my children. Now, it tells us that there is so much sexual indiscipline out there. I mean, someone recently said that the real pandemic that we have out there today is sexual indiscipline. The fact that many people are no longer disciplined sexually. I mean, even when two people are dating, at the word of "oh, I love you," or just by asking for their name, before you know it, they are already sleeping together. People no longer date anymore. What they do more or less is mating, sleeping together. At every little thing, you've removed your clothing, your pants, you've taken to the street and sleeping your life away. And if we keep doing things like this, I tell you, we will have many more children that you may never end up knowing their parent or knowing their father or their mother. Why? Because you just have sex carelessly and you give birth, to children irresponsibly. So this is a really pathetic situation. Even the fact that there is an increase in the number of people going for DNA tests now simply shows that spouses are no longer they can no longer trust even each other. The man was talking about the fact that yes, it's good to trust, but at times it's good to verify that. So they always encourage that if you have doubt in your heart, it's better for you to come do the DNA test to verify rather than having doubt. And he said that this has helped more and more people to come forward to say, oh, you know what, let's do this DNA test. And he said that the specimen of the sample they asked for are very simple things such as mouth swab, maybe tongue, toothbrush, saliva, and things like that. And it's so easy. And I think it's even cheaper now to be done. Now, the issue is not saying we all should go and do it, because as a matter of fact, he said that if all of us will have to go through a DNA test, he said that the whole Nigeria will scatter, in the sense that there may be no marriages anymore, because people will just discover that they've been living with familiar strangers, people that are not really blood related to them. And he said that could cause a lot of chaos. However, he said that if yours is a case of suspicion, your marriage or your union is characterized by infidelity, then you may want to check these things out. You may want to verify, so that you can get to know the reality or the truth behind your marriage or your life. Now, checking all these things is good, but what I am more worried about is the future of marriage. I mean, in a setting like Nigeria or Africa, and the future of these children, because this goes a long way to tell us that some things are not just right, that a lot is going on that is not right. It tells us that more and more people are becoming indisciplined when it comes to um, sexual behavior. Despite the fact that you are married, you're still sleeping around, you still have multiple sex partner, you just live carelessly. And we've even seen people who are married, but they are not focused, they are not concentrating on their marriage. They are still busy poking their nose here and there into past relationship with ex, still moving around with people, maybe just for favors or to get money. I wouldn't know, maybe for economic reasons, we don't know. But however, such act is not justified, because if you claim that you are married, then it's better for you to stay put where you are, where you've chosen to commit yourself to, rather than going about sleeping around, creating confusion, creating problems for us in society, adding to the problems on ground that we are trying to solve. And for young people, there was this pathetic case we handled recently of a young girl, that also heard from a guy. They met somewhere at the camp, and they both of them got separated or got disconnected. They couldn't reach each other for 5 years, just for this guy to reach her again and say, "Oh, you know what? I think I'm interested in getting married to you." And for her, at the word of "I want to marry you, I'm interested in marrying you," she took to the road, traveled, left her state to travel down to Lagos where this guy live. And according to her, "I want to study him, to know him." While she was busy studying him, she got pregnant. And now the guy beat her blue black, and she's like, "You know what? I don't want to do this anymore." So she has ran back to her state. And when we hear things like this, I'm like, what is going on? Is it that people don't even have discipline anymore? Is it that we don't respect ourselves anymore? Is it that you cannot just sit down and assess issues objectively? I mean, the fact that someone is telling you "I love you" does not mean you should give yourself so cheaply to them by sleeping with them already, and it resulted into pregnancy. And in so many pregnancies flying up and down everywhere now, that when you look at it critically, those pregnancies are not happening within the confines of marriage. It's either happening, it's just a messy one. I mean, people just sleep around loosely, they sleep with people loosely, carelessly, get pregnant irresponsibly, not caring, how to even take care of the child, not caring the pain they might cause the child in future. I mean, we just do things anyhow. Now, that does not go to say that we don't have people who are in themselves irresponsible. I mean, we have some men who are irresponsible. They don't want to do anything. So because they don't want to do anything, and they see the woman, outshining them, or they see the woman being economically better than they are. Some of them take to the streets, blackmailing, saying, "Oh, they don't think the child she had for them is theirs." So just to avoid taking responsibility, they cook up lies, they blackmail, they say, "Oh, that child is not mine," and all of that. And they leave all the responsibility to the woman to carry. Now, we understand there are cases like that, because this geneticists also explain the fact that at times, such men will later come back. I don't know, for some reasons, they feel like, okay, this boy or this girl is now grown up, so they say, "Oh, let's go somewhere to check the DNA, and they find out that they are the true fathers. Now he said when that happened, they break down and say, "Oh, I didn't know, I should have taken care of you." Now we have such irresponsible set of people, and those ones would definitely get their reward, no doubt. So, but the ones I'm really talking about today are the ones that you know that that child that you are claiming belongs to that man. It's not that man's own. It's you don't even know who the father is, because you've slept with so many people that you've lost count. You can't even remember what is what or which is which, and you are claiming that, oh, this boy belongs to you, that girl belongs to you, and you are even collecting money in the name of you have a child for them. Please check yourself, check your ways. That is not good. That is not good. And we need to pay attention to parenting. We need to pay attention to ourselves as human beings, as wife, as husband. You can't afford to just go to town, sleeping around anyhow, carelessly, creating problems for your family, for your home, for your children, for your wife, for your husband. You can't keep doing that and expect that you yourself will enjoy your life or you will experience a good life. That will not happen. I mean, you are making your life complicated all by yourself. So we need to have a rethink about all these things, especially the way at which we go about having sex. It's very disgusting. It's truly a pandemic. I mean, if you are married, stick to your spouse and have sex within the confines of your marriage. And if you are a young person yet to be married, please be decent. I mean, you can't be sleeping with everyone that asks for your name or for everyone that asks you out, because if you have to do all of that all the time, I tell you, by the time you are truly ready for marriage, you would have been worn out, you would have been used, and you become useless even to the man or the woman you are getting married to. So please, let's be considerate. Let's put others in our shoes. Let's try to reduce all of these damages that we are already experiencing, in families, in homes, in marriages, in society. Let's live responsibly. And you, maybe as the man, you too, that lady that you are insisting you must sleep with before you can help them, you must sleep with them just because you are dating them. Please have a rethink. That lady could be your sister. That lady could be, I mean, they could be your relative. Would you be happy to see someone treat your own blood sister like that, impregnate them, deny the pregnancy, and after some time you resurface and say, oh, I didn't know I actually own this pregnancy. I mean, let's think about all these things before we do it to other people. So I'd like to stop here now. I hope we have learned something, one or two things. Please, let's be decent in the way we live our lives. Let's be disciplined in our sexual behaviors. It's very, very important for you to avert sorrow, for you to avert living a complicated life. Life itself is hard enough for you to complicate it further. So you don't want to keep doing that by your irresponsible sexual lifestyle. So please, let's be disciplined. Let's pay more attention to self. Let's be committed to our spouses, to our marriages. Let's live decently. It's very, very important. We can't say this enough. At least that will go a long way in curbing all of these ugly situations that we have right now in society. I'd like to stop here now. I remain your host, Marlai and Oputi. If you have learned something from the video, please do share it with others. Remember, give us a like, give us a comment, share this video with others, and we will appreciate it if you do subscribe to our YouTube channel if you are yet to do so. Till we meet again, I say